I thought a lot about what to talk about today, but you've heard a lot of speakers and a lot of wisdom today. When I reflected back this weekend, I kind of felt like Isaiah, the Hebrew prophet, who when he came before God, sacred wisdom, the experience of the holy, found he couldn't speak. I thought I'd give you a Latin lesson. The last 6 years I've been going to a retreat, and the theme of the retreat is conspire. And conspire's Latin roots literally mean to breathe together. It comes from com, inspire, together. Inspire is spirit, breathe. Breathe together. When I thought about this day, and I thought about Dr. King, and I thought about his conversation on bringing the community together as brothers and sisters, and thought about the other, and how we do all have that experience of the other, it became clear to me that unity is not uniformity, as Mona talked about. That unity is something more. It's even something more than being inclusive. It's being curious about the other. It's like the puzzle piece we heard earlier, that we are puzzle solvers from Dr. Banks Hall. The puzzle comes together and it has these different pieces and they fit together differently. And it forms this one beautiful picture. Unity is not uniformity. Breathing together is not getting rid of the differences, but bringing them in as different experiences. I think of the relationships, and I believe that life is a series of connections, of relationships within our communities, within our families, but even beyond. And I think how the most meaningful connections always happen with those who we didn't realize how much we had in common. I think about Matthew in the gospel talking about Jesus' story of the least of these. That when you feed the hungry, you're actually feeding yourself. It's an acknowledgement when you give hospitality and you give housing and shelter and food, that at some point you could be on the other end of that equation. It's that kind of compassion that leads us to change things. I have had the blessing in my life of getting to travel and getting to know people who had very different experiences growing up. And every time I hear Dr. King's speeches or read something from other leaders like Gandhi or even some of the documents that founded this country, the intent was always that we're in this together. The important aspect of this is that we're breathing together, but still feeling that person next to me, feeling their differences. What you heard today were voices that came from very different life experiences. And you heard just a snippet of how they might see the world. But understanding that snippet opens a whole new chapter in how you can understand the person standing next to you, the person standing across from you, the person who has had very different experiences and different ideas that you can learn from, but that you don't have to agree with everything that person thinks or feels. But you understand how they feel passionate about that one thing that they would literally lay their life down for. One of the most beautiful things about being a part of a community is getting to understand the experience of the other and still breathing together. Conspire is a beautiful word to me. Conspire means that we are in this together and we each bring some little different reflection that puts together this one picture of the human experience that we're going through. So, contrary to all those words I just said, a lot of times when I think about these topics, I feel like Isaiah. I feel humbled and like I've lost my voice And the best thing I can do is support other voices who have different experiences. The best thing I can do is be quiet first and listen. And the best thing I can do is find ways to connect with people who have different experiences than I do. So my challenge today would be to go out and literally find someone who has a very different experience, to break bread with them, to listen to their experience, and to learn from the other. Because then I really believe you have the opportunity to come together as a community and breathe together in this experience. I thank you all for giving some time today to think about things that are important to think about, that sometimes we are just programmed to walk past as we're all worried about everything that's happening in our day and how it will affect us. I'm grateful that this community has people who would care enough to show up and listen to the many beautiful voices you heard today. And Cleary University is thankful to be part of this community. Thank you very much.